Okay, I did not expect Lazar to have 2 in a row. By the way, Lazar, for the first one I got to read from yours, that's a fun one. That's a very good one. I like that. I like the concept. I like the tests. I like. Very well done. You're learning. Well done. No, you did. That was really fun to read. That was a really good time. You also now wrote the next one, Phantom Bomber Fleet. So we have involuntary bullet catching, and now we have Phantom Bomber Fleet. Wow, you really like the extended part. Okay, I need to have a talk with Howard, because I'm not sure if he actually considered all this. Keter, special containment procedures. The source of -1 instance is currently unknown. Removal of the source of instance of -1 is ongoing. Containment currently focuses on eliminating -1 instances in Tango events. Detachment of interceptor aircraft. I need to actually answer this text. Aircraft in squadron strength as well as ground and air search radars sighted at Site 7, 1824 and GOC site listed in the joint document -776 will attempt to detect and intercept -1 instances whenever a Tango event occurs. Additional undercover detachments in the armed forces of NATO and the former Warsaw Pact members are tasked with masking -1 instances from air search radars, or otherwise establish them as non-existent contacts. Ideally, Tango events should be classified as a scheduled large aircraft flights or coincide with planned monitoring downtime for maintenance or testing. Ideally, Foundation and GOC forces should be sufficient to intercept -1 instances outside of densely populated areas. In the case that joint Foundation/GOC forces are out of the action or otherwise insufficient, defense forces of nations targeted should only be alerted as a last resort. All records should be recovered under the guise of a technical failure in a military exercise. Surviving instances of -3 should be recovered for questioning, but neutralized should recovery become impossible. Neutralized immediately. Surviving instances are unable to answer relevant questions. Foundation Site A is sited at a derelict radar station on the outskirts of Tula, Russia. A research group of Foundation researchers should work to restore -2 to working order to remove the threat that Tango events pose. Let me just quickly answer. Description: instances of -1 appear to be Handley Page Victor strategic bombers outfitted for strategic bombing. Instance of -1 confirmed to be carefully reverse engineered Handley Page Victors of Soviet origin. Here it starts now. Like, I always feel like there's like something moving from, but it's just like the rim, you know, it's like this, and the shadow just makes it look like something's there. Let's go to Mikhail Gurevich MiG-29 multi-role fighters. Instances have markings consistent with RAF aircraft in 1975. Radiological testing indicates that 60% of instances carry tactical nuclear weapons ranging in size from 10 to 75 kilotons. Air crews will attempt to respond to radio hails from interceptor aircraft, but audio received from flight crews is heavily distorted and mostly unintelligible, and have been otherwise unable to comply with Foundation requests. When approached using ICAO interception and signaling, aircraft will respond with "cannot comply" and continue on course. See interview log 1. Groups of -1 in flight strength will spontaneously appear over the North Atlantic at 16,000 meters. Such appearances are termed Tango events. Instances will attempt to fly towards Warsaw Pact industrial centers, major military bases, and other strategic locations. It is presumed that instances of -1 will attempt to destroy these cities with their payloads. Projections suggest that if one target is destroyed, there is a 68% chance of the resulting political situation escalating into an XK class scenario. Flights of -1 also have the following characteristics. Approximately 60% of instances will suffer a mechanical failure and crash of their own accord. In fact, 16% is pretty bigger than you want for a plane to not crash. In 5% of Tango events, MiG-29 escort fighters will shoot down the victor counterparts and otherwise resume course. Instances often fly erratically, yawning or turning in circles several times before turning on course. Site. What's the title again? Phantom Bomber Fleet. Yes. Site A was originally a control facility carefully disguised as a radar site. At some point after redacted, it fell into disrepair until it was restored as a foundation site after the discovery of its association with Tango events from rediscovered Group P division documents. It contains the remains of previously unknown variation of the Elbrus 3 computer linked to a Nestor radar array, designated -2, as well as the remains of a Group P division research site. Based on partial recovered documentation, the currently non-functioning network is the control mechanism for -1 instances, and currently in the active mode with no way to return the system to an inactive state. Work to restore functionality is ongoing. Recovery log. GOC forces requested assistance in containing -1 instances, which they claim to have been containing and attempting to destroy since 1975. They did not cite a reason for involving the Foundation. Link to -2 discovered in 2000 with the recovery of Group P division archives. Inconsistencies discovered between Group P records and GOC timelines. See internal document 1-1 request for assistance and internal document -2 timeline of events. Here we have interview 1 level 3/2326 clearance required. Agent Volarov was chosen due to his familiarity with Warsaw Pact aircraft and flight procedures. Forward, communication established on 243 megahertz, the primary aircraft emergency band. So, this is Major Volarov of the 324 Fighter Air Division of the VVS. Your aircraft and the rest of the squadron has been recalled to Site 24. Turn back at once. Unintelligible. 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 Troll difficult. Unintelligible. Turn back immediately or we'll be forced to shoot you down. And unintelligible. Extra ammo fly cannot. Unintelligible. Orders rip. Unintelligible. System verification. Volov at this point activated the seeker heads on the AAMs attached to his aircraft. System verification. Unintelligible. Out. Unintelligible. Lock. Unintelligible. Activated on. Recut. Unintelligible. The system. Unintelligible. Set. Repeat. I can hardly understand what you're saying. -1's voice, despite the distortion, becomes noticeably distressed. Bleep. Unintelligible. This is off. We've been flat. Unintelligible. It's got active. Unintelligible. It hurts so bad. Unintelligible. Feeling anything. Unintelligible. What can we turn off? -1 voice begins screaming. Please shoot off. Unintelligible. Shoot us down. Unintelligible. Else we can't do it. Unintelligible. Agent Volarov received approval to shoot down the aircraft. -1 instance was downed into the North Atlantic without incident. That's pretty spooky. What a troll thing for me to say to her. Internal document 1 request for assistance level 3/2326 clearance required. Our forces are no longer sufficient to prevent a catastrophic scenario should unforeseen circumstances arise. Ideally, we should be able to neutralize the anomaly when it occurs, but it's better to be prepared. All documentation we have gathered has been delivered via courier to the prearranged drop point. Delivered documentation formed the basis of this document, but contained no mention of -2, only that of the existence, actions, and characteristics of -1 instances. Internal document -2, timeline of events level 4/2326 clearance required. I wanted to fucking beep to the rhythm of bye 1972. Group P Division creates Operation Silver, a false flag operation designed to attack Warsaw Pact cities with conventional aerial bombing to generate sympathy and for a proper casus belli for war against the West. 1978, Operation Silver is operational. A secondary function for use in nuclear second strike is implemented. Via anomalous means, strategic bombers will be deployed against the West in infinite numbers as long as the deactivation code remains unbroadcasted, even if the system goes offline. Intended to be used in conjunction with Dead Hand. 1991. With the collapse of the Soviet Union imminent, Hardline Group P Division leaders activate the false flag function of the Silver apparatus with the intention of using war to keep the Union together. However, GOC forces are able to neutralize the bombers and the Soviet Union collapses later that year. 1993, GOC forces discovered the link to -2 and attempt to disable the facility. System malfunctions and enters both its false flag and infinite state, tricking the intermittent occurrence of Tango events. 1997, GOC forces request assistance with containment. Existence of -2 is not disclosed. 2000, Foundation discovered at Site A and is linked to -1. And then we have internal document 3, state of repairs level 4/2326 clearance required. Date 2000, project start. Author Dr. Samanov notes that GOC really did a number on this place. Whatever is left of the controlling system is in pieces. We have to reverse engineer it from what's left in the Group P Division documentation. I've placed Dr. Avery in charge of signals analysis and Dr. Jameson in charge of system analysis. Signals and system, okay. Between us, the schematics and what is left here was ought to be at least reverse engineer the system. Reestablishing connection with -1 is going to be the real test. Date 2001, 15 months after the project start. Author Dr. Avery notes, well, we pieced together what exactly has occurred in the system and why it's acting the way it is. When the GOC wrecked this, it was operating in FF mode. That is the mode where conventional bombers hit the Warsaw Pact. When the GOC came in, the functioning mode switched to a glitchy halfway mode before it went completely offline. That's why we got MiG 29s escorting Victors and all the other bizarre behavior. It's going to be a while before we have our replacement -2 functioning. We still got a decade or two of operating data to work with. With any luck, we can turn the whole thing off and reclassify it safe. Date 2003, 30 months after project start. Author Dr. Jameson's notes, -2 construction on schedule. The hopper is going to be reprogramming the operating system. There aren't even many Elbrus 3 still around, and this one is like no variant I've ever seen. We're playing a very dangerous game here. Randomly editing the process that governs an out-of-control nuclear bomber force is a gamble of last resort. The full source code and documentation was later recovered in 2007. Date 2008, 90 months after project start. Author Dr. Samanov notes, well, -2 is up and running. And thank God we found the source code in the archives. SCP-2326 instances see our system, but they won't connect. They can't verify that we're the actual -2 system, and without that we can't change parameters or turn it off. We have the proper authentication codes and everything. 7.5 years and this whole effort seems to be just another dead end. Dr. Samanov requests the use of and restoration of -2 request is currently pending. Let me read something again, just to double check. Yeah, no, I would feel bad for them. But all these like fighter jets that just spawn in and then be like, hey, this shit actually hurts us, just shoot us down. Imagine being spawned inside a bomber jet, suffering and unable to fully communicate, just to ask to be shot down by whoever managed to contact you. Yeah, it's not a lovely thought, is it? Not a lovely thought. Compared to involuntary bullet catching, Phantom Bomber Fleet, I struggle a little bit to understand how it works, but I do get it. I do get the gist of it. But man, it's just one. It seems like more like last I went from like one that's like a little bit silly to one that's a little bit more depressive. It's just a little bit like. Actually, let me double check. Let me check something. What does it say here? Yeah, this is that's true. Yeah, there is -3 that's not being mentioned, but yeah. But it looks like I still think it like I do prefer the previous one, involuntary bullet catching, just because of how silly it is. But like, yeah, Phantom Bomber Fleet still pretty fun little read.